So, all right, guys, we got to get this one right. On three, we're going to say, welcome back to Extraordinary Thoughts Flowing in Mind. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Extraordinary Mind.
And we back.
That'll work right there.
Yeah.
And we back. And we
Yeah.
back. And we back. And we back. And we
Y'all did y'all best. And that's all that matters.
Now, before we get started with this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this episode, share this podcast, and if you can, do me a favor, head on down to the review section and leave an honest review, because this podcast was dedicated to helping us become a better version of ourselves. And I don't know what that version is, but I know that just like we need a little bit more money, just like we need a little bit more sleep, just like we need a little bit more of anything in life, we deserve to be a little better than what we are right now. All right, before we get into today's episode, I just really want to just say that social media is a scary place, man. You know what I mean? Like, social media can be a very scary place, because on social media, you can be whoever you want to be, you know? And it's good and it's bad. So before we even get into this episode, I really want a lot of people to understand that who I am online is also who I am offline. You feel me? Like for those who have ever got a chance to meet me in person, I'm no different. I'm not a different person. You know, people always come up to me and they're like this, like, hey, is he who he is online versus who he is offline? You know, and it's, yeah, I am, you know, and I could probably say that. You know, I probably can say that who I am, who you see on Instagram is who you see on a regular basis. Like, Meech Speaks is Demetrius Thigpen on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Let me rephrase that. Demetrius Thigpen is Meech Speaks regardless of the situation. You know, I'm not going to change. When I log onto my Instagram account, I'm not turning into a different person. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as that app pops up, I'm not turning into a different person. It may seem like I come alive when I get to speaking, but that's not because I'm turning into a different person. No, I'm about to just start talking about my passion. And when I get to talking about my passion, it's just this little spark that comes out of my eye. That's all it is. But when I go through social media sometimes, you know, I try to stay away from other people's comments. I try to, man. And when I say that, like, other people's comments, I'm not talking about the comments that get put under my post. Because I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. I'm quick to block a person. I have ascended to a different level of growth where I'm blocking people at this point in the game. You feel me? Like, I'm not in the business anymore of arguing in my fucking comments. I'm not in the business anymore of arguing in my DMs. I'm not in the business anymore of arguing with fucking strangers that I'm never going to see. You know what I mean? Because I already know where I'm trying to take it. You feel me? Like, that's why I don't try to put myself in situations anymore, because I already know where I'm trying to take it. You feel me? And I know there's somebody right now that's listening to this episode that completely understands exactly what I'm saying. They like, hey, you know, I'm trying to take it there too. You feel me? So I don't even try to put myself in those type of situations. But to the creators, to the influencers, to the people that are going on social media and being their authentic self, right? And then you go through their comments and you see these people that it's these hateful comments, bro. It's these hateful comments about how someone is living their life. I'll say that one more time, man. It's these hateful comments about how someone is living their life. Like you're upset at someone on how they are living their life. Let me rephrase that. You are upset with someone because they are not living their life in the accordance in which you would have decided them to. You know what I mean? And that really gets under my skin sometimes. So I try to stay away from it. You know, I remember who was it? Sergeant Major Bull. You know, Sergeant Major Bull had posted something, and it was supposed to be, you know, something inspirational for somebody else, you know? And it was very beautiful. And I remember looking through that man's comments, right? Like, looking through his comments and just seeing just the negativity. You know, I was just seeing the negativity, and I was just like, damn, man, like, what the hell did this man do? Like, how can somebody else live in their authentic life? You know what I mean? Like, how can somebody else living their life on their accord bother you so much? You know, I see somebody, you know, being, an entrepreneur trying to push their product, and you're going to see somebody up under their comments hating. You feel me? Like they're going to be hating. And it really breaks my heart to see people just like that. Hell, the Marine Corps just posted just a picture about Pride Month. This, I think it was today. And the comments, bro, the comments, it really caught me off guard, bro, because it's just like, what? Like how, who are you to speak for an entire, who are you to speak for all of us? Like, this isn't what we think. You know what I mean? I think somebody put up under there, oh, well, the Taliban are shaking in their boots. You're not even in the fucking military. Why are you saying that? Or, you need to get over yourself and, why are we pushing this? And bro, why does that bother you so much? So before we even get started in this episode, man, like I just really want to talk to whoever's got some hate in their heart. You feel me? Whoever is feeling like as if like at some point, man, like something that somebody's life bothers you. You know what I mean? Like I need you to release that. If you see some shit that you don't fucking like, you know what I mean? Like somebody posted something online and you just ain't fucking with it. You don't got to say anything to them. You can just scroll past. Matter of fact, you can block them. Matter of fact, you can mute them. Matter of fact, you can unfollow them. Matter of fact, you can close your fucking app and go on about your day. But it should not hold any power over you. As we come to a close of this week, I just really want to let everybody know that, and this ain't even got to be in a negative sense, you feel me? This ain't even got to be control. This ain't even got to be on some hating stuff. This could just be right now, release what has a hold over you. You feel me? Like release what has a hold over you, because it does something to your spirit. It does something to your spirit when you give something power over you that does not need to have power over you. All right? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. I'm gonna keep it 100 because that's something that I've been doing a lot lately. All right. But if it doesn't serve you, you need to let it go. If it doesn't serve you, you need to go ahead and let it go. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm your host, Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind. All right, so tomorrow I got a demo. You know what I mean? And they asked me what I was gonna speak, what was I gonna say to the crowd, and something has really been heavy on my spirit lately. I feel like I say that a lot. Like something's always heavy on my spirit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like as if like my spirit legs gotta be strong. You feel me? Because whatever be on its shoulders all the fucking time, it be holding up some weight because it's always heavy on my spirit. And this topic itself, man, like it's really heavy on my spirit. I'm gonna go ahead and just get that out there. But what's heavy is how do I say this? Perspective. Now, I read this article that perspective is the attitude towards or a way of regarding something. You know what I mean? It's a viewpoint. And based off of your perspective is going to essentially determine how you move towards that situation. Like if you was looking at Mount Everest from the ground up, you would be like, damn, that's a big ass mountain. You feel me? Like, God damn, that's a big ass mountain. In fact, I mean, we all know that Mount Everest is one of the biggest mountains. It's the biggest mountain in the world. You feel me? And people have tried to climb Mount Everest on numerous occasions and have died trying. Matter of fact, it's like 200 bodies on Mount Everest. So when you hear the context and now you looking at the mountain, you like, damn, this is big. This is big. But if you were looking at it from the moon, you'd be like, this is a dot. If you were in an airplane flying over Mount Everest right now, you wouldn't think it was that big. And I bring that up right there because that's how a lot of us look at our problems. That's how a lot of us look at our problems. From the ground floor, it looks like it's a lot. You feel me? It looks like as if like, damn, man, I'm not going to be able to accomplish this. But if you looked at it from a different perspective, you would be like, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not really that big of a deal. The same way that you look at other people. You know what I mean? Like your perspective on somebody, if you changed your perspective, you'll probably look at them in a different way. I try to, I've always been known as a truth seeker. You know, and when I mean like a truth seeker, man, I'm a firm believer in that there's three sides to a story. Your side, their side, and the side of the story. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I try to hear one side of the story and then I want to hear the other side. I want to hear context. I want to know exactly what the situation is. I want to know your position in it and I want to know their position in it. So that way, when I give you my opinion, I don't have a biased perspective. I'm not just solely based off of from the vantage point that you gave me. I want to see the whole thing. When I hear about goals, you know what I mean? Like I want to hear the good, the bad. And then I want to be able to actually talk about being able to accomplish it. And the thing that I like about perspective is that your mind is key. You feel me? Like when we talk about fitness, I feel like I say that I feel like we don't talk about it enough, but I feel like we talk about it too much without a lot of context to it. You know? We say that you got to be mentally strong in order to accomplish your goals. But the reality is, man, is that you got to be prepared to lose going into this situation. You got to be prepared for that. You really do. Like strength is one thing, but when you are prepared to lose, and I'm not saying like, you're expecting to lose. You're just prepared to lose. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. But your mind, right? Like your mind is going to be the biggest key as you walk into any situation, especially if it's going to be your goals, your aspirations, your dreams. Making something into reality, you have to be prepared. Be prepared to lose. You have to. Because if you're just solely prepared to win, when you finally lose, you're going to be devastated. You ain't going to have a backup. And as we talk about mind, like understand that it inspires your perspective. It's the thing that creates the thoughts, the theories, the ideas, the myths, the imaging. You know what I mean? Like this is what you are already generating by the time that you're walking towards a goal situation. Perspective when, how do you say? Perspective from family, man. How you receive it. You know what I mean? Like how you receive something is going to be a big thing. It's going to be big. And I really, I've been bringing like a lot of context to this episode, and I really want to just go ahead and just tell a story real quick. And I remember when I was how old was I? I think I was about I'm about 18. Yeah, I was like 18. I had just turned 18 actually. And I had just graduated high school. I'm working at Myers, pushing carts, you know what I mean? I'm trying to give this college shit a try, bro. Like I'm really trying to give this college shit a try. But I'm gonna just be honest with you, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but college ain't for everybody. It's really not. And I gave it a try. I honestly gave it a try. I dropped out within the first semester. Dropped out. I'm in Detroit, Michigan. I done dropped out of college. Now, prior to me even joining college, I never wanted to go to begin with. I never wanted to go to college. I didn't want to go to college because, to be honest with you, I didn't see myself in college. But I went because that was supposed to be the way to become successful. You know what I mean? Like you got to go to college, get a good education in order to get a good job. There's a lot more that goes into it. And I'm pretty sure whoever has been to college before can attest to that situation. It's a lot of bullshit in there, And I done dropped out of college. I'm back at Myers. I'm pushing carts. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I want to do in my life. And lo and behold, here comes a fucking recruiter. And I remember seeing him, and he in one of the most ugliest uniforms I have ever seen in my life. I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. The Marine Corps wins when it comes down to uniforms, but at the exact same time, when I had seen this, it's all about perspective. You know what I mean? And from my viewpoint, I did not like what I had saw, but I knew that he was a military recruiter. I knew that for a fact. And I remember pulling up on him, And I rolled my window down and I said, "Hey, man, you a recruiter?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Hey, I need you to recruit me." He said, "Get in my office." I got in his office. He had me sit down. He's talking to me about the military and everything like that. And I tell people this story, and a lot of people don't know this, but I initially wanted to join the Air Force. Like, that was the entire plan. Like, I was supposed to be in the Air Force. I was never supposed to be in the United States Marine Corps. And I remember sitting in his office, and he's been talking to me for about 30 minutes. And I asked him, I said, hey, man, like, what do you think about the Air Force? And he said, what the fuck do you mean what I think about the Air Force? I was like, well, aren't you in the Air Force? He said, no, I'm in the Marine Corps. And I was like, what? And he's like, you in the Marine Corps office. So, needless to say, I got my ass chewed for the first time in my life. And that was my first ass chewing. But it made me, he had already hooked me in. You know what I mean? Like, he had already hooked me in. So fast forward, I get the paperwork, you know, I'm of age. And, you know, this is the part now where I got to go home and tell my family and stuff like, hey, I have made a decision with my life. I've made a decision with my life. And I remember going home and telling everybody that I was going to join the military. I remember that. And the hardest part, you know, let me rephrase, I wouldn't say it was the hardest part. It was actually the saddest part. Nobody believed. Nobody believed in my idea. I don't want to say that they didn't believe in me, but they didn't believe in my idea. And I really want to just take a pause real quick. I just want to stop for a second. Because a lot of people, you know, when they hear that, you know, when somebody tells them an idea of what they want to do in their life, they say to themselves that they don't believe in them. It's not that they don't believe in you. Your family don't. It's not that your family don't believe in you. They don't believe in the idea. All right. You got to be able to separate those two, because a lot of people generate like this hate. They generate this anger. They generate this animosity towards like family and friends and people that are close to them, because they feel like they don't believe in them. It's not that they don't believe in you. They don't believe in what you're telling them. That's it. That's it. And here I am at 31 years old, and I'm finally understanding that. But when I told them that I wanted to join the military, nobody believed in that. They said, hey, what you gonna join the military for? You need to go to college. I said, I don't want to go to college. They said, you're going to go over there and fight this war, get blown up, get PTSD. You're going to get all of these things and come back and you're going to be hurt. You're going to be crazy. You're going to get your legs blown. I mean, they really giving me all the shit that they saw on CNN. They really are, you know? And once again, it's not that they don't believe in me. You know what I mean? It's not that. They don't believe in the idea. And a lot of times it's hard for somebody to believe in an idea if they don't have experience in that idea. You feel me? If they have never experienced what you are talking about, it's hard for you to sell that to them. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It could have been a great salesman. My recruiter was a great salesman. You feel me? But they were opposed to the idea. I just really want to get that off my chest when I say it. Is that a lot of times, man, like y'all upset with everybody else. And then we get on these high horses and sit back and say, ain't nobody believe in me. Nobody, it ain't that they didn't believe in you. They didn't believe in the idea. And that's exactly what I was facing at 18 years old. Nobody believed in the idea that, you know, I can make something in the military, that the military would be good for me. That there was more to life than going to fucking college and working at a goddamn factory. It was more to it. And I'm talking about I was in depths for about 6 months. You know what I mean? And my mom, she just wouldn't bring it up. You know, family, they just wouldn't talk to me about the idea because they didn't want to get upset. And I remember one time, like my neighbors, they had saw me and, you know, we were real close. And they were thinking about like, you know, how about I take that folder and just throw it away for you, you know, and let you, cause they under the pressure I'm getting drafted. You feel me? Like they think that like some recruiter grabbed me and sold me some bullshit, not realizing that this is really my idea. And I tell you, nobody believed. Nobody believed. And I remember my last day in Detroit. I remember it. Last day in Detroit, everybody's crying, man. They crying their eyes out. And, you know, they asking me, Michi, are you sure you want to do this? Is this something that you truly want to do? And I'm like, yes. Yes. And they were reluctant, but at the exact same time, they were like, okay. And I ended up joining. That was 13 years ago. Here it is now, and I can't find anybody to talk me out of, getting out. And every time I tell them that, hey, I want to get out of the military, they like this. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't do that. This is the best thing that's happened to you. Look what the military did. Look at all you have accomplished. Look at all that you have seen. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because what changed? 13 years ago, y'all was talking all that shit, talking about how this was a bad idea. What changed? And I really want to just say it's about perspective. It's about perspective. It's hard to speak on something when you don't have experience in it. You're only speaking on stuff based off of what you know. And a lot of times, somebody has an idea. They have a goal. They have a dream. And we try to force it on somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, we try to make people believe in what we believe. And then get upset when people just ain't believing in that. And because they not believing in it, it makes it hard for us to believe in it. You told everybody that you was going to climb Mount Everest, and when they told you that there was 200 dead bodies already up there, you're going to be 201, you got a little scared. What you scared of? Why you concerned now? They not the ones that's going to climb that mountain. They just giving you the context. They just giving you their perspective. They're just giving you from what they're seeing. You're the one that's got to do it. You telling somebody right now that you want to open up a business, they telling you that businesses don't do well within their first 5 years. You getting scared. What you scared for? That's the information that they found out. You the one with the dream. You the one that's got to go ahead and do it. Why you scared now? Don't sit there and allow your fears, your idea, let me rephrase that, your imagination to get the best of you. They told me and they looked me dead in my face and told me that I was going to get PTSD. Said that I was going to get my legs blown off. I was going to come back crazy. I was not scared. I wasn't scared because that was their perspective. That wasn't mine. I'm going to say that one more time. I wasn't scared because that was their perspective. It wasn't mine. It wasn't mine. And I say that it wasn't mine because I saw something bigger. I wanted something bigger. And I knew that it was on the other side. And regardless of the situation, I understood that it was going to be hard. And I really want a lot of people to understand that. Is that despite the situation, you feel me? Like I will always recognize the difficulty in it. But just because it's hard, that don't mean that it's impossible. So I bring that up right now, man, is because your perspective and how you perceive something, right, is going to dictate your life. If you allow something, if you truly allow something to dang on, like if you truly allow something to stop you, it will stop you. What you believe will transpire in your life. I'm going to say that one more time. What you believe will transpire in your life. If you believe that you can't do it, then guess what? You're not going to be able to do it. If you believe that it's impossible, then guess what? No matter what the situation is, it will always be impossible. And when I say no matter what the situation is, I'm talking about how many opportunities that you get, resources that you have. No matter what, what the time of day it's going to be, it's always going to be impossible to you. Because that's what you believe. Your perspective is important. And how you change it is going to determine whether or not you're going to be successful. And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Stay tuned every Monday as we bring you another episode. And lastly, don't forget to like this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, and share this podcast because this podcast was dedicated to helping you become a better version of yourself. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but just like we need more sleep, just like we need more money, we deserve to be a better version of ourselves. Stay hungry, stay motivated. I'm out.